This is how I shop in order to stay healthy, fit, and best for my mental health. We just got back from the store, acquired all the goods, so let's head inside and show you everything I got. This is my absolute best grocery haul to stay lean and for mental clarity. We just got back from the store. I try to keep it one ingredient as possible, if you'll notice, with all the food that I've gotten. This cost me around $100, probably lasts me like a week or so worth of food, probably a little bit more than that. But let's go ahead and get into it. I'm not gonna get into all the details of everything specific here, but I'll just go over vaguely. So we got some avocados. I love to put this on some natural sourdough 3-ingredient bread or some eggs in the morning. Got champagne mangoes. I do like regular mangoes better. These ones are a little bit more sour. However, they are fantastic. Got a cantaloupe. Love the melons. They're on the clean 15 list, so that means no pesticides or little to none. Then we have some strawberries. I couldn't find at Sam's Club the organic strawberries, so I'm gonna have to dump these in some baking soda solution with water to dilute all the pesticides out of it. Then we move on to things like kiwis. I love kiwis. If you don't love kiwis, these are absolutely amazing. You can eat the skin, good for you with fibers and everything. However, the skin may be where more oxalates are formed, so it's better to eat the inside of that. Then I'm so happy we got watermelon. It is watermelon season, baby. I love watermelon, one of my favorite foods. Got some grass-fed ground beef. You wanna try to go with the grass-fed ground beef or some organic, because in soy, and they're eating things that are unnatural for them. They are normally just supposed to eat grass, not grain. Put some cortisol in the meat, and then that could also get into your body and cause you a little bit of stress. However, once again, if you're on a budget, then that is okay. Just go for the 1-ingredient foods. I love to say God gave us all this in our nature, so we got to eat it. Then we got some eggs. I love eggs. These ones right here are the cage-free eggs. I've been looking for the pasture-raised everywhere. However, they have been on a egg shortage, and because of that, it's harder to find the pasture raised. But once again, cage free, if you're on a budget, fantastic, much better than the regular grade A. However, I still would say that those would be good as well. This one is a surprising one. We got chili tamarind bites. Now, I'm not a huge fan of these ingredients. I can show them on the screen, but it does have 2 grams of added sugar. I know you're probably like, 2 grams, that's nothing. But it is still processed sugar. I do like to stay away from that. It also has citric acid, and citric acid, yes, if it comes from fruits, then it is in its natural form. However, most of the citric acid that comes into packages like this or processed foods, it is formed from black mold, and it is a synthetic additive and preservative. So we don't necessarily want to see that in here. However, the other ingredients aren't that bad. And I've been looking for tamarind everywhere. Tamarind is an amazing fruit. It helps get rid of all of the excess metals in your body, such as fluoride. It unblocks your pituitary gland, which is good for our hormones. And I just couldn't find this fruit anywhere, so this was the only way I could find it. So I'm gonna try some of those. I'm super excited about that. And then my sister actually found these. Once again, there's a few ingredients not a huge fan of, the sesame seeds or the tapioca flour, because of the fact that it is plant derived, and in that derivative then there is some anti-nutrients, and it can be inflammatory with certain aspects. Not super nutrient dense in that, but it is a great snack. Everything else is organic in that. Fantastic. I don't like to see all the processed sugars and all the sunflower oils and all that, so those are much better. You're probably wondering, where is the dairy at? I do like to get raw dairy. However, I live in a state that it is banned, unfortunately. It is the illegal superfood. That stuff is absolutely amazing. Raw milk, raw kefir, raw yogurt, raw cheeses. You could actually find some raw cheese, such as Parmigiano Reggiano, but you gotta make sure it's raw milk and only has 2 or few ingredients. Also, don't have any bananas here. Love those. And some dates. The dates that I've been getting recently have been black and moldy, and it was just nasty, so I kind of didn't get any more of those bunches of dates. But I do love some tasty treats like that. Seem like I'm super strict, but I'm not super strict on diet. I just like to eat all this because it makes me feel better overall. I like to say, stick to God's fruits, God's natures, his 1-ingredient foods. I love them. They're so great. I used to be a sweet kind of guy, or like a chip kind of guy, and I do love that. So if you can find some chips that are maybe in avocado oil and better sourced potatoes with just a little bit of salt, then that will be fine. Obviously, there may be some other factors that might not be as bad, because anything that is preservative and packed in a package has a higher chance of going through machinery and having toxic metals in it. But once again, those are always better options. I usually cook all this food, tallow, you could cook it in ghee, butter, anything of that sort. Just make sure that you guys are just being more aware of what you're putting into your body. And that's kind of what I say to that. But once again, I am a little bit more lenient, like here and there. You know, I might go in for a little donut. Most of the time, I stay pretty strict to this, and it just makes me operate better. Dopamine is spiking off the walls. I just want to eat all this food right now. I literally set this up to make this video, and I was so hungry throughout this whole video. So I'm gonna go eat. I'm so happy to end this video because I want to eat my breakfast today. It's about 12, it's about noon. I do like to do a little bit of intermittent fasting and all that sort. I know some people don't like that, and that's okay. It's just my thing. It's just, I love it. And yeah, let me go cook some food. I am starving. Here it is, a little special insight at the end. The chili tamarind. If I'm being honest, if it didn't have the chili and like hot peppers on it, tamarind tastes like a gummy bear. Right? This would be addicting fruit.